There can be only one.
Don't you.
Not again. Here we go again. Okay, Volca, but nothing bad happened this time. Whoa. No. Who left you out in the cold? Let's have a look at you. No. No. No! 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 Good evening and welcome to another Halloween installment of clearly not 1 minute synthesizer reviews. On this Devil of an episode, we take a look at one of the most puzzling pieces I've ever come across. Many will disagree with my hair-raising opinions, but fear not, this little monster is more complex than you can even comprehend. So without any further ado, this is the Korg Volca Modular. Oh, and don't worry, I paid for the Volca Modular all on my own. I even have the document selling my soul to prove it, giving up your entire afterlife just to afford a synthesizer. Now that's scary. The Korg Volca Modular is a one-voice, two-voltage-controlled oscillator modular desktop synthesizer that's portable and easy to take anywhere you want people to ask, "What the hell is that?" In the box, you get a handy module reference sheet, a baggie of poke-your-eye-out mini cables for patching, a Volca sync cable, 6 AA batteries, and the unit itself. Typical solid Volca build quality here with plenty of knobs, patch points, and a keyboard, and a speaker here on the bottom, which is honestly handy. Now, up front, let me get one thing straight. I adore the Korg Volca line. From the FM to the keys, y'all have seen me use them. I recently just bought the Volca Sample 2. All of these with my own money, and I truly enjoyed each of these. The Volca Sample 2 showed that Korg was really listening to their audience. I was actually really excited about the Volca Modular when it was released, and I spent some time with it in Germany. Though my initial reaction was less than stellar, as you could see. Was this IG post foreshadowing of things to come? Well, keep watching. One thing I appreciate about the Volca line is that if you somewhat know how to use one Volca, you've got a head start for each new model. You can make some lovely sounds with the Volca Modular, like such. You can also make some weirder sounds with the Volca Modular as well, like this. The Volca Modular is broken up into 8 distinct sections, or modules: sources, functions, woggle, split, dual LPG, utility, space out, and sequences. You can patch between different sections using included cables, but by default, the Volca Modular is set up in a semi-modular fashion, so no patch cables are necessary to get started with a stock kind of sound. Let's go over the modules quickly. First up, you have the sources. Here you'll find 2 triangle VCOs, one as a carrier and one as a modulator. Here is where you really create the tone. You can create two notes too, if you tune things correctly. There's also a fold knob that when turning it clockwise adds overtones to your sound. Next, functions. These are your envelope generators. You can do some interesting things here, like make an LFO or a VCO by looping one of these. Woggle is your sample and hold circuit. There are patch points here for getting hard steps or more smoothed out steps from the random noise generator. Split section is just that. Either make one signal 2 or two signals 1 here. The dual LPGs or low pass gates are your filters. This is West Coast style and they are not resident for those of you who were looking for that knob. But in general, I think they sound fine and shape your sources a lot. Utilities section is all about mixing signals, either attenuate or invert stuff patched into here. Spaced out is the effects section. It's reminiscent of a spring reverb. It's not bad, but it's also not my favorite reverb, in all honesty. You can do some cool stuff here like patching into the amount jack. Before the last section, I want to talk about the beginner's mindset for this Volca Modular and choosing to include musical modes. The concepts presented, I'm going to lead towards not incredibly beginner friendly if you want to understand the entire scope of the Volca Modular. I say that because seeing things like Dorian, Phrygian, and Lydian as scale choices is not real beginner's theory. And you may be totally lost. So while it's great to see, it's a bit confusing, I'll be honest. And finally, the sequencer section. First up, the tempo knob is up here near a set of inputs and outputs. Patching out of these acts like a clock divider, which I think is a very welcome thing to have. I'll quickly go over how to make a sequence. Start by pressing and holding the function button and then pressing the clear all on the keyboard. Now you've got a blank slate. Then you've got to select a scale or octave by pressing and holding function and the corresponding keyboard selection. You can create a sequence in either real time by pressing play and record at the same time, or you can enter step recording mode by just pressing the function and then record at the same time. Press some buttons and voila, you've got a sequence. You can also move knobs during playback and record them into the motion sequence. Oh, and on the note of sequences, Korg, stop doing that 16-step sequence limit thing. Not one sequencer ever again should be having a limited length. Is there a memory limit or is there a hardware limit? Of course not. I could see 64, dang, I could even see 32 would make me say, well, at least they tried. But 16, I just can't. And yes, I'm aware that you can use pattern chain function, but that itself seems strange as you have to put multiple short patterns together and you just can't have one long one. Ooh, and don't let me get started on the Korg Prologue. It doesn't even have a sequencer. Real pro, wouldn't you say? And that's why my final score for the Korg Volca Modular is 7 deadly Volca sins out of 10. On the real, the Korg Volca Modular to me, personally, subjectively, wasn't really all that fun. And was it an interesting lark? Sure. But when I think back about my time with it, I wasn't really thrilled, nor do I ever need to go back and use it again. It's got the same vocal workflow, well, with added cabling, of course. And when thinking about how to explain why this isn't for me, well, it's not because it's not great build quality, because it is great build quality, or because I don't see why other people would like it. I can see why West Coast style in a tiny box is a great concept, but it just wasn't fun, and fun is what makes the Volca range a product, I guess, something you'd want to come back to time after time. Making music for this episode was such a chore, and the sound, honestly, of this Volca Modular, the palette isn't really that broad. Now, personally, I would have liked to see a different user interface for the keyboard portion, but that's just me, and I get why Korg did what they did. But I love Modular for the expansive sounds, and this Volca Modular is just too limited and weak, and I'm not gonna take it back. I tried the Volca Modular years ago, hoping to return to it and be moved in a different way, but for as far as my time with the Volca Modular, that's just not the case. Anyways, thanks again, guys, for another year of 1-minute synthesizer reviews. This was a weird year, some challenges, ups and downs, but honestly, I still had fun. I still love saying exactly what I want. I'm not gonna stop doing that. So remember to like, subscribe, from the bottom of my heart, follow me on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see ya in the next one. In the box, you get a handy moth. Ugh. Another plane. The Volca Modulars broke up into 8 distinct sections on modular. Here is why you can create 2 notes if smooth or very hard steps out of. What the heck am I reading? The dual D, Sirens. It never gets old. It never gets old. Now, up front, let me get one. Rewind. Why are you playing music outside right now, dog? You can patch between them. No, man, come on now. Wasn't really that. Oh, dang. Oh, got that burger.